As you know, February is the month of lovers. Valentine's Day, Lincoln's birthday, of course, Black History Month. But what I personally first knew about was Valentine's Day. And believe it or not, I said it before, but for those who haven't known, the first manga I've ever read was a shoujo, Fruits Baskets, Shigochara, and many other shoujos. So when a lot of people are hardcore shonen, which I can be a fan of shonen too, but my first heart will always go to the shoujo series, romances, and all that stuff. So for the last 2 days, I'll be doing two videos today and tomorrow about some anime that I've been watching that are good on romance, good for the heart. You know, lately there's been a lot of those animes where it takes forever for the MC or for the two couples to go out with each other, and when they do go out, the story's over with and it ends. And I kind of grew out of those stories because they became so predictable and poorly written. They have all the tropes in there, and it was just terrible. And you have to go sometimes for over sometimes 200 chapters, sometimes 200, and not much progression really happens, and it just sucks all over the place. So it's better to watch them through anime if they're thoroughly animated through the adaptation. Sorry, I think I mixed my words up there. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that when you're watching shows like Nagatoro or Don't Toy With Me, oh wait, I just said Nagatoro, or Uzaki Wants to Hang Out, you may like them, but you'll probably never see them ask each other out in the anime if it gets that many seasons, or if it does. Hey, it took 3 seasons for Kaguya-sama for them to actually confess to each other in a full freaking movie. It took forever, you know? And some people don't have the patience. It depends on the entertainment and development of the characters for that to happen. So, here I am to tell you about some anime, well, one anime I've been watching, where it happens in the middle of the series and it flows naturally. The Angel Next Door spoils me rotten. You know, I heard this was getting an anime adaptation, and I wanted to see if I could read it first in manga, and then pick up from where it left off. It's a very down to earth romance story, very natural flow and stuff, and it brings the question: Can someone become a couple without asking each other out? Oh, I'm sorry, my ears been itching lately. Ooh, God. But anyways, forget that. Can someone become a couple without asking each other out, without confessing and stuff? And the question is the answer, anyways, is yes. Yes, they can. Sometimes it just happens. You meet someone across the aisle or street, you hang out, and next you know, you're just hugging each other or you're spending more time together. You don't remember asking that person out, but somehow you feel like you didn't need to. It's like you're both on the same wavelength. And believe it or not, I went through that similar experience once before. But anyways, that'll be at towards the end of the video. Let's talk about the show. There's Bella dude who lives his life in the background. Doesn't stick out much. Does his usual thing, the typical anime boy haircut that you see everywhere in these things. But he does it on purpose because he doesn't want to be noticed. He just wants to be left alone. He lives by himself, where his parents paid for him to live near his school in his apartment, but it's a mess. The guy's place. It shows that you need each other sometimes for things. Some people who live by themselves, even when they have time on their hands, just don't bother cleaning up after themselves. It's just a entire mess. Everything. They can't cook. They can't clean. They can't do anything. They need help. Brother needs some help. One day he sees a chick on a swing out there by herself looking glum. A chick that's very popular in her school. They call her the Angel, because she is good and perfect at everything with a sweet and gentle smile. One day she's just out there feeling glum, and he gives her an umbrella. And she returns the umbrella as thanks, only to find out his room is an entire mess. So she starts cleaning up his room as payment. She felt like she had to do this no matter what. Then when she was done cleaning up the room, she like, have you ate anything? Well, he ate some junk food. So like, I just can't do. I will personally cook for you. So she starts doing it. He'll wash the Tupperware, give it back, and she'll do it. Next thing you know, she starts cooking in his kitchen. And then, they start having conversations. They start sharing each other's feelings. But they hide who they are at school. And then in the middle of the show, he finds a little more about herself. And she is in a very depressed state where he finally, in a way, does it not in a confession like state, but in more of a physical state, and they just go out. And that's where it stopped from there. It's on episode 8 and everything. It flows so naturally. A lot of people say it's boring because it's not doing the crazy antics or the out high school hijinks and stuff. And I say it doesn't need that. It's not that kind of story. It's a very down-to-earth story. A story that doesn't need all the wild and crazy adventures to be interesting. It's just two people trying to complete each other. Well, not knowing they would. Plenty of times people say, "Are they going out?" But they say no. But as time went on, it just, they stopped caring. Like, maybe we are. And it flew naturally. It's a nice, heartwarming show where everyone has their problems. You might meet someone perfect, but they have their own problems too. You may not think they're big as yours, but it's big for them. And each person can carry their own weight based on the way they live. So what might be light to you might be heavy for someone else. And that's the thing I got from this story. This dude lived a normal life where he would sometimes have trouble getting close to certain people because he's been hurt in the past, where he tried to be friends with someone, but they end up betraying him. So he's distant towards being around over-friendly people. Well, she's afraid to show her true self because she works so hard to get the approval of her parents that she may not ever get in her lifetime. So those are the trials that they try to overcome with each other. It's really, really sweet and nice. I love it. It's nice, people. You should give it a watch. It's actually been in the top 10 ratings lately within the anime chart on Anime Trending. The only place you should go to when it comes to anime voting. Nowhere else. I guess Anime Corner's okay too, but Anime Trending, it's just been there. But anyways, now back to my story. I went through this in 11th grade. I moved high schools. I was finally building up my reputation at my first high school I went to, and I was excited to really go in there in 11th grade, because I was going to do ROTC. I was having a love interest. We were about to go ask each other out, and then moved. We moved. We didn't even go to the place we were supposed to go to. We ended up going to somewhere else way out in the country where my ancestors originated from. And ended up going to a ratchet, hustle, ghetto school. It was a nightmare. That really wasn't so bad, actually. It was actually less violent. It was more hustling going on than anything else. And the only people really fighting were the chicks, which was a surprise for me. But anyways, I had art class, honors art class. And there I met a chick who just was, by herself and stuff. We started talking over common interest. We would play this prank on my friend where she would never tell him her true name until the very end and stuff. And it was funny. It was very funny. It was a thing we'd do on him. He would always try to guess her name. And one time we did it on accident, only to pretend whether or not that was her real name or not. But he almost got it, but didn't until we told him towards the end. And he's like, "Man, you said that, didn't you? You figured it out." But anyways, we were just talking about our personal problems, the situations we're in. She was living with her sisters and felt like she had to do all the housework, but yet again, they were doing the working at home. Well, they were working, so of course she would come home and clean and stuff, which I guess it made sense. And then we were just clicked, She was in home ec. She'll start cooking me, let me try her food. We'll play games and we would just hang out, and stuff. And in a way, they said, "Are we going?" Someone asked, "Are we going out?" And I'm like, "Are we?" And I'm like, I think. So I think. I think. that it was nice. It didn't last long though, because she had to move actually, and so she moved, and believe it or not, a month later I moved, not back to school I went to actually, and I'm kind of glad I did because when I thought about it, the way for me to build my reputation up there is I had to be someone I was trying that I wasn't in the first place. So I started thinking maybe this was for the best. I came to school. I was able to be me, you know? And then I went to the other school. I was stayed me. And people joke me. I wasn't popular or anything. Like I was trying so hard in my first high school, but I gained the friends that I needed in that one. No trouble, no drama, nothing like that. It was a very nice and peaceful high school. I went my half 11th year and the rest of my senior year. It was crazy. And then it kind of happened again with another girl. Once again in art class. I kid you not. And the same thing kind of happened. We didn't have regular cable, so we had the converter box. When everything was going digital, and I was saying the song, I was saying this term. Oh, this is serious, mysterious. And she looked at me and was like, "You're stuck to watching that channel too, aren't you?" Yeah. There's a channel on the converter box called Kubo, and it was for kids, and the only way to watch some cartoons, so we were always watched that, along with Me TV or Cool TV, PBS, and some of the basic channels. So we were starting talking about the shows we were watching and how we hated them at first, but ended up growing on us because we were forced to adapt to it and stuff. And then she also took home ec. She also started cooking for me too as well and stuff. And then it was the point where we were going out and we didn't say anything about it. It just happened, We didn't say, "Hey, will you go out with me?" or something like that. It just happened. Anyway, it just evolves to that form where sometimes you just don't know when it's going to happen or not. So after that, um, we stayed together until it was time for me to graduate and stuff. And then she went off to her school life, and I went off to mine and stuff. We were staying connected for a year after graduation. We weren't going out again, but it was for a year. But then she deleted her Facebook and never heard from her ever again. And that's how it is. Ironically, after that, I did hear from one of my exes that was at that first high school I went to, which was very interesting. Like, wow, she contacted me all of a sudden. Like, yeah, it was kind of dramatic. So I really didn't want nothing to do with that, but things change. Time changes people. She was more mature. We didn't go out or anything like that. We just talked. But then she deleted her Facebook. Like, what's all these drugs in her Facebooks during that time? And then didn't talk to her ever again. So a lot of weird stuff happened. But that's what I wanted to talk about. My confessions of my love stories of the past and stuff. I want to get off my chest how the angel next door, Swallow Ryan, is very realistic because these things can happen. Someday you just help a chick out, show her some kindness, and she'll want to do things for you. Just because. You'll start as acquaintances to friends to just going out without even saying anything about it. Things can work so natural sometimes. It grows. So that's my story for you. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, of course, hit the bell icon. Besides the background, I'm Anime. Signing out.